Okay, now we will start the unit 3, which is the organizational knowledge management. And first of all, we will study the knowledge architecture. So how this knowledge architecture is helpful? First of all, it is helpful in knowledge sharing. And it has three main components. First is the people, second is the content, and third is the technology. And they are interdependent and inseparable. Okay, so without the people, the knowledge cannot be shared. Without the contents, the knowledge cannot be shared. As in the last unit, we have studied that the people who are extrovert and are having the positive attitude tend to share more than the introvert people, or in comparison with the introvert people or the negative attitude people, which are less likely to share the knowledge because of the insecurity, job insecurity, try to excel themselves, not to act as a team, and so on. Another aspect is the content. So the content which is to be shared is also important, that it should be accurate, it should be relevant, and the help of the technology can be taken. As it is indicated in this diagram, as we have studied sets in the class 11th also. So we have studied the union and intersection. So some part of all these three components comes under the intersection, or which means that they are, some part is deeply interdependent and they cannot be separated. Okay, some part is there that people involvement is there, content is to be there, and knowledge sharing is to be done with the help of the technology. Okay, so how these contents and technology are interrelated with the people? Obviously the content sharing is done by the people, and these people in general term, he could be a teacher, assistant professor, professor, etc. So as we are learning nowadays online, here also there is the role of the technology in the form of the learning apps. For example, this Zoom learning app which we are taking help, Google Meet, Geo Meet, etc. So how the technology is helping us to learn? Here we can share the contents. Again, technology is also used in the mobiles, and also it is used in the WhatsApp, also it is used in the laptops, which helps in the sharing. So what is the advantage of this technology when we are sharing the contents with the help of the people? Other aspects of the technology are also applicable in the offline classes also, when we are using our laptop and the projector system to depict the contents. So how it is advantageous? It is advantageous because first of all, we can serve to the bigger community, large number of students simultaneously. For example, if we are taking the are having the license version of the Zoom, then we can teach 500 students at a time, isn't it? So it is the advantageous position. Second is the clarity. Time consuming, less time is being consumed when we are teaching the in an online manner. For example, if we are teaching in an offline manner, a faculty member who is teaching or a trainer who is teaching, first of all he will be going to write something on the whiteboard or the green board, then he will be going to explain those contents, isn't it? Same is applicable for the diagrams as well. Okay, so what are the disadvantages? First of all, time is being consumed more in offline class. Secondly, you may have observed sometimes that whatever the teacher is writing in front of you, sometimes you cannot make out of it. Handwriting is such that you cannot make out of it. Okay, and also there are complaints of some of the students that the contents are not visible. For example, some of the students are sitting at the back, they are backbenchers, so from the back they cannot see the contents. So this is a disadvantage. Again, some of the concepts require diagrams, absolute diagrams, sensitive diagrams. So again, the faculty, every faculty members may not be having good drawing skills. Okay, so with the help of the technology, those drawing skills can be, or that image can be imported using the projector system or using the online screen sharing as we are doing today. Using the technology, again we can increase the size of the contents. For example, at present you are viewing these three circles in a bigger picture. Now I have reduced this size. Okay, so it is flexible in nature. So flexibility is the key when we are teaching with the help of the technology, isn't it? So again, when we are required to point out any contents or line, we can use the LED laser light, or here also in the zoom we can use the annotations to denote the particular thing. And also those sensitive diagrams can be zoomed enough to get into the depths. Okay, so all these components helps in the knowledge sharing. And so we will take each of these components one by one. First comes is the people core. Who are the people which we are talking here? We are broadly talking of the knowledge based industry, and here the people means the knowledge workers, managers, customers, suppliers. And the first goal is to evaluate the existing knowledge, existing documents, that whether they are up to mark or not. And secondly, to enhance the communication, the ERP profile or employee profile or student profile is created, and with the help of those, the user ID, password is created, or official emails is created. Next part is that assigning of the right job content to the right person. For example, we are involved in any knowledge based product or app development or website development. So some of the knowledge workers or some of the persons, people may be more comfortable in designing the website, few may be in the programming, few may be in the database, few may be in the data integration, some of the person are more comfortable with the scripting language. So all these are the part of the full integrated system. So some of them are good at testing, so they are assigned the testing jobs. Okay, so the person who is doing the same job again and again becomes expert, and that should be assigned to them. So that the effective system is being created. Now, for example, you must be aware of the scripting language. You are aware of the scripting language? That broadly we can define the JavaScript as the client side language. Okay, and it is broadly used for form validations, that whether the person who is filling any forms or entry as a user, first time user, so he is entering the right contents or not. For example, if there are 10 fields which are to be filled by the user: name, date of birth, email, password, repeat password, and so on. So if a person misses out in one or the other, and if he tries to submit that form, so an pop-up message will be occurring on the screen. That is due to the JavaScript. It may have a message that okay, your date of birth has been not been filled, and so on. Again, if we email is required, and if a person is not using at the rate, for example, if a person is entering his email as dell@gmail.com and not dell@gmail.com, then it will represent, it will, a pop-up error message will come up. So same again, if the password and the retype password are not same, that message will pop up. So this scripting language is occurring on the client side, and we have, when we have filled this form and submitted this form, and if we are visiting that web page again, and we are giving our inputs, user ID and password, so on this second time this password will be verified from the database which we have submitted earlier. But so if there is an error, it will be from the server end, but when we are talking about the JavaScript, it is from the client side. So first of all, to enhance the knowledge sharing, a knowledge network has to be designed, and for that a knowledge center is to be identified. Knowledge center can be, in a bigger picture, can be described as a place or a city where the knowledge resides, those companies resides, or the persons who are experts in a particular field resides. For example, if we are talking of software companies or hardware companies, silicon cities, there are 10 silicon cities worldwide. In India it is Bangalore. So when we are talking of the Bangalore, so software people, networking people, hardware people, programming people, etc., will be easily available there. Okay, so after determining the knowledge that people need, the next step is to find where the knowledge resides. So that is through the silicon, identifying the places. For example, we have identified the silicon cities, and what are the ways to capture it successfully. This is again the good aspect. Everyone is having a busy life, so everyone is not able to give his valuable time frequently. So if the weekend offers are given to the experts, for example, if we are talking of these cities, by and large these cities or these companies work on Monday to Friday, and there is 2 days off. Okay, so if we are giving the weekend offers to expert, for example, if we are having the Java domain company and we would like to train our new recruits, or we want to upskill them with the live sessions, so we can call the weekend, so call these experts to the weekend at weekend, and we are required to give them some handsome remuneration, so that they are ready to sacrifice their weekend for this. Okay, secondly, how to capture it successfully again includes to include those workshops, or sending employees to the different companies for the workshops. Recruiting the skilled person is also one of the way to capture the knowledge. Okay, second, the term knowledge center means the areas in the organization where the knowledge is available for capturing. Okay, in bigger picture, we have identified the knowledge centers as those centers where those industry people are there, those industry companies are there. But when we are using the micro view of the knowledge center, we mean that the within the organization where these experts are available for the knowledge they are having, and how that knowledge can be captured. We can classify them as a team. And what else we can do? What we can, as a head of the department, a person who is heading the department, he has to go to the CV of their employees, the members of their employees, to get the exact view that what their field of interest is, what these faculties have done in their MTech, what they have done in as a live project, have they attended any workshops, seminars, conferences in a particular domain. For example, if a person is attending the data science projects conferences, IoT based conferences, so that HOD should know where the knowledge is residing, where the knowledge is moving, and who is likely to become expert. One is the who is the expert, and what is the bench strength, who is next in line. If a person X is going out of the JU, then who is likely to replace them. So this is to be evaluated from the CV evaluation and the ongoing learning process. Okay, so these centers supports to identify experts also based on their past industrial experience. For example, if some industry people have joined our university, then which industry was he associated with, that is also helpful. Okay, so then comes the activating the knowledge satellites. Once we have identified the persons or experts in a particular domain, then comes the knowledge content satellites. By satellites, what we mean that satellites, it is above the earth, and they used to provide us the communication signals, isn't it, for different media sharing contents. Similarly, these content satellites or knowledge content satellites can be those nodes or those explicit knowledge contents which on sharing can be beneficial for all others. Okay, so activating knowledge content satellites also means that a person who is sitting can have any informal talk with these experts to capture that knowledge and later codify or document it. Okay, so sharing the notes online, lecture, PPTs, all comes under these satellites. Whenever these knowledge satellites are being assigned, so experts for this knowledge center is assigned, and after the final framework, one manager is also assigned for this knowledge satellite, who will ensure the integrity of this information content access and update. Okay, so when the manager is assigned, they will ensure that this content is to be assigned to which person. For example, we are also having an ERP system, and ERP manager is there in our university. So for example, I have uploaded the knowledge management syllabus contents, so it should be accessible only by those students who have opted for that knowledge subject, and not for everyone. Okay, so it should be not be accessible by each and every person. And also, apart from the access, update is required, that if a new person is assigned any job or in a company, then if he add-ons those things, For example, in our university also, if we are having a course file in which the syllabus and the contents are added, and also when I am sharing you these contents, I am giving you the text matter, but the experience which I am having and the examples which I am giving, it is not included in the notes, because these examples are based on my experience. So if other person is adding to these contents, he may add his own examples. Okay, so this results in the updation of the contents. And ownership is also a crucial factor of knowledge capture, knowledge transfer, and the knowledge implementation. Ownership means, for example, if the common subject or the same subject is being taken by more than one faculty members. For example, in our basic electrical also, when I have taught you in the first year. So what we have done at that time, since the 5 uh, sections were there in which we were teaching, so we have shared same notes, same assignments, same question papers, so that an equality is maintained and joint ownership is there. For example, similarly, as we have discussed in the electronic brainstorming in the first unit, it is, you can say, it is similar to that. So joint ownership means the joint creation of the contents. For example, at that time we 5 faculty members were involved and 5 units were there. Then what we have done, we have distributed 1 unit each. Okay, and similarly for assignment part also, we have distributed one. Notes were different, but in some of the cases it was shared also. But assignment part, one assignment was given to each faculty members to prepare assignment and its solutions. Okay, and ownership, when we talk of the ownership, we can also add the watermark also. Okay, so in the typical organization, department usually tend to be territorial. So what we mean by the territorial, we mean that if a person is having more than, if a company is having more departments, so that is their territory. For example, if a company is having the budget of 1 crore rupees for a new product, or 10 crore rupees, then the R&D people, marketing people, software development people, training people, okay, everyone will try to acquire as much as budget in their allocation, so that they can effectively represent their department's process and progress. Okay, so they often fight for the budget, but it is the healthy competition which will ultimately result in the upliftment of the company. Okay, so, and all departments cooperate with each other for the sharing of the knowledge. So this is the people part. Next part is the technical core. So this technical core helps in enhancing the communications and also in the effective knowledge sharing. And by and large, it is the process of managing the tacit knowledge, because we know that whatever is written, whatever is documented, whatever audio visuals ads we are having, we can refer it again and again as and when needed. But the tacit knowledge, which I have mentioned earlier also, that it is in the mind of the expert, so that is difficult to tap and that cannot be stored until that tacit knowledge is converted into explicit knowledge. Okay, you can also say, for example, if some of the experts have passed away, if a person is no more, so then that knowledge which was residing in his minds cannot be retrieved, isn't it? So as and when he is live, that knowledge can be tapped if that tacit knowledge is converted into explicit knowledge well within the time frame. So it also creates the communication networks and links between the necessary database. And technical code also represents the totality of the required hardware, software, and the specialized human resources. Okay, so whatever the hardware is required, for example, the projector rooms, cables, the network cables, server rooms, AC in the people, softwares required, for example, ERP system, hardware manager, network people, ERP manager, and specialized human resources can be the persons who is looking after the password and security protocols, etc. Okay, so these are the attributes of the technology. And the what is the expected out of them? It is expected that it should be accurate, speed should be there, reliable should be there, security and integrity. Okay, all these components are governed under the technical core. And when they are providing these things to their employees or the knowledge workers, so that they can push the employees to the greater efficiency and productivity. Okay, So there are many technical layers in the user these technical layers in the technical core. First is the user interface layer. This is nothing but the web browser, which is the link between, or the interface between, the user and the knowledge management system. So it is the topmost layer of the system architecture. And when we say the browser, and also it includes uh, the system or the text, graphics, tables, etc., which are displayed on the screen, and what impact they create. It includes this as well. For example, if a person is having an image background, if a person is having a laptop, he's having a desktop, he can create whatever background image he wants. But if a company is having a particular background image in all its PC or all the laptops which they have provided, and they have logged that background image, so what, in how it is helpful. For example, they have the background image of the company logo. So when a person is watching that logo again and again, or that motto of that company again and again, it creates an impact in their mind. Similarly, screensaver is again a aspect. When a person is not using his screen after 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever it may case maybe, so screensaver image or screensaver text also creates the same impact. Okay, again, and what a person can do himself, that sticky notes, as you must be aware that sticky notes are those notes which a person
सर आज इतना इंग्लिश में कैसे बोल रहे हो?
क्या?
आज सर पूरा लेक्चर इंग्लिश में ले लिया सर आपने.
हाँ तो क्या हो गया?
सर
कभी कभी
वो बात नहीं आती सर.
अच्छा चलो कोई बात नहीं, अगली बार हिंदी में कर देंगे, आज इंग्लिश में चलने दो. ठीक है, आज इंग्लिश में चलने दो, कोई बात नहीं. मैं फटाफट 2 मिनट रह गए, इसको कंप्लीट कर लेते हैं. ठीक है, स्टिकी नोट्स आर दोस पॉइंट्स, और यू कैन से द टू डू नोट्स which are to be completed by a user. ठीक है, again, what are the screen saving, that a person for his convenience, he is saving his files on the C drive itself, although it is not desired, because as whenever there is a virus attack on the PC and we are going for the formatting of the PC, it will result in the loss of the data. Screen lock of the mobile is also one of the feature which a person can use effectively. Okay, for example, I have kept my lock screen of my mobile as a timetable. My timetable image, the load which I have to take, I have taken that as a lock screen, so that I can refer again and again which lecture I have to take at what time. I can refer again and again without remembering it. Okay, next is the user interface layer. There should be proper, provide the way for the proper flow of the tacit and the explicit knowledge. Here, when we talk of this tacit knowledge and the in-depth explicit knowledge, sometimes we do not remember the whole story or whole character or the concept behind it. By the passage of the time, we sometimes tend to forget most of these things until and unless revised. So sometimes we remember only just keywords or key personalities. And when this user interface layer should provide the proper flow of this tacit to explicit knowledge. For example, if we are remembering just one person or that key person, then we can search for that person, that then we can search for the story behind it, and then the link will be established. For example, if we are remembering any song of a movie and we are not remembering the movie and we are not remembering the star cast, so if we are putting those keywords to the Google, we will get the star cast or movie name. If we are getting the movie name, then we can put that the cast of this movie, then we will get the star cast, and whole story that will be available to us. So tacit knowledge will be converted into explicit knowledge. For example, one of the character in the Krishna story is the Udhav. You know Udhav?
Yes sir.
उद्धव था ना, एक करेक्टर था. तो किसने बोला यस सर? बोला कौन था वो, क्या करता था बताओ? नहीं पता है ना. तो कहने का वही मैंने अभी बताया कि हमारे को क्या है, कभी कभी सिर्फ एक कैरेक्टर का नाम पता होता है, उसकी स्टोरी नहीं पता होती है. ठीक है, या फिर हमारे को पता होती है, हम भूल जाते हैं पूरी स्टोरी. तो एक उद्धव कैरेक्टर था, वो क्या है, बृहस्पति जी का शिष्य था. वो बृहस्पति से शिक्षा लेकर आया था और काफी इंटेलेक्चुअली स्ट्रांग था. ठीक है, इंटेलेक्चुअली स्ट्रांग था, लेकिन कृष्ण भगवान का भक्त भी था. तो उसमें क्या थोड़ी ईगो आ गई थी. तो उसको लगता था कि इंटेलेक्चुअल जो है वो चीज ज्यादा बड़ी है. ठीक है, और कृष्ण भगवान जी उसको ये सबक सिखाना चाहते थे कि नहीं, भक्ति जो है वो ज्यादा बड़ी है इंटेलेक्चुअल से, तो उसने क्या है, उसको उद्धव को वृंदावन भेज दिया कि तुम वृंदावन में जाओ, वहां मेरे जानने वाले लोग हैं, वो हैं। तो वो जब वहां गया, तो वहां जब उसने देखा कि लोग भक्ति में इतने ज्यादा इन्वॉल्व हैं, तो उसको अपनी जो शिक्षा दीक्षा, जो इंटेलेक्चुअल थिंग्स थी, वो उसको क्षीण लगने लगी। ठीक है, तो इस तरह से यहाँ पे ये है। तो इससे, इस यूजर इंटरफेस लेयर से क्या है, हम स्टोर कर सकते हैं नॉलेज बेस में, ताकि हम लोगों को बाद में अवेलेबल करा सकें। और यूजर इंटरफेस डिजाइन में क्या चीज होनी चाहिए, कंसिस्टेंसी होनी चाहिए, रेलेवेंस होनी चाहिए, विजुअल क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए। विजुअल क्लैरिटी मतलब वही रेजोल्यूशन है, रेजोल्यूशन भी डिफाइंड होना चाहिए कि भाई जैसे अगर इंटरनेट एक्सप्लोजर 11 है तो वो उसमें ये वीडियो अच्छी तरह से दिखेगा, एंड सो ऑन। यूजेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए, ईज ऑफ नेविगेशन होना चाहिए। जैसे हमने वेब ब्राउजर की बात की है, तो एक हाइपरलिंक दूसरे हाइपरलिंक से अगर जुड़ा होगा, तो वो क्या है, इजीली हम उसको जो है जो लास्ट हम जहाँ पहुंचना चाहते हैं वहां पे पहुंच पाएंगे।